Welcome to Novel Creature, the Novel Creature Network. I'm your host, Montrez, here to connect you with the talented, the many talents of our fellow creatives and blurs, all your favorite blurs and creatives. And for our very first show, we have a very special guest, none other than Derek Lonzo Starr Allen, who is the CEO and founder of Konkret Comics and the creator of the amazing comic series Akolyte. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you
Yes,
so
yes. Thank you for having me, Ms. Montrez. You've been out here putting in God's work. I'm just honored to be here and to be uh, your first guest as
much.
well.
No, thank you. You're setting the bar high because you're doing a lot of amazing work, and so I'm happy to have you here, and I'm so grateful for your time, and I'm excited to kind of just celebrate what you've got going on and blast it out into
Oh yeah.
the internet ether here. So
Yo, yeah, yeah.
I could read your bio, but I think our guests would be more interested in hearing your story directly coming from you. So
Okay.
you are the CEO of Konkret Comics, which has won several awards, and it's just a phenomenal rabbit hole. You give us a smorgasbord of just so many diverse and well produced comics. Can you tell us about your journey? How did you get into comics and how did you get here?
So my name, for those that don't know, my name is Derek Lonzo Starr Allen, CEO and founder of Concrete Comics, writer, creator of the legendary Acolyte, and the new book Zoriel that will be coming soon this year. I can't wait for y'all to dive into that.
Yes.
And I do a slew of other things as well. I'm basically the creative director of Concord Comics. I kind of oversee, where we're gonna go with our characters, our storylines, and stuff like that as well. Um, and long story short, I've been into comics in the sci-fi medium, the action adventure medium, my whole life. My dad raised me as a Star Warsian and a Trekkie, uh, kung fu maniac, old Bruce Lee films and all that good stuff. Chuck Norris, Van Damme, Steven Seagal. You know, I can keep going. Growing up, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, all those guys, they
Yes.
practically raised me. Sylvester Stallone, Schwarzenegger. I can keep going. You know what I'm saying, but it's been instilled in me since I was young. And growing up as a child in the 90s, in the early 90s, we had some of the most fantastic cartoons, such as the Ninja Turtles. We had X-Men. We had the Spider-Mans, Fantastic Fours, the Batman and Supermans. So I was it was a great time to grow up um, in that medium, and it really crafted the person I am today. Everything I loved when I was a child, I love right now, and this is like the most perfect time to be alive right now because they're making movies that look good with these characters, not cheesy how they used to look, back in the day. Um,
Yes.
so no, it's been a crazy journey. I never thought I would be the CEO of a comic book company. That was never my plan. But now that I'm here, I couldn't be more happier.
So you said comic books wasn't originally in your plan, even though you started with a love of comics and all the sci-fi. Can you tell us what your original plan was and how it
So,
led to comics?
well, if I can go through the generations of like 0 to 10 years old to 10 to 20 to 30, and where I am now. So growing up, I wanted to be an astronaut. I love the stars. My pop used to buy me telescopes every Christmas. I was real big on the whole telescope thing, and just I wanted to be like an explorer. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to see the stars. I wanted to find life out there in the cosmos, which allegedly we have now, but
Right. That's what they
I
say.
don't know. And then I have a very strong love for music too, and originally I wanted to be a hip hop choreographer. I wanted to do dance. I wanted to be the guy that make up the dances in the music videos. I used to do a lot of dance. I used to be in a lot of dance battles when I was younger. I used to go around from neighborhood to neighborhood battling the best dancer, and just trying to make my name out there. But then in my teenage years, I discovered my true love was actually making music and making beats and being a producer. Because then now I get to watch people move to the sounds that I make, which I love to dance. But the reason why I love to dance because of the sound and just like now I'm the guy controlling the body movement. You know what I'm saying? And that was like a real dope thing to me. Um, and my friends told me I had a good voice, so I decided to try to rap. And then I became a rapper as well and a songwriter. Um, and it's funny because all of that, the music industry and being a music artist kind of trained me to know how to operate a comic book business because they're
Wow.
very similar. But
Wow.
it's like the road I took, it led me to this, which is probably what I'm supposed to be doing is this right here. Um, and yeah, that was basically that's basically how my mind it kind of shifted over. The music, it's funny. I always loved comics when I was younger. Then I left comics to dance and do music and do that. But then the music brought me back to comics.
Wow.
So yeah.
Can you explore that? I remember you saying something in a different conversation, not here, but it's very valid. How some of your music, you actually had lyrics that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
pointed back to comics.
Yeah, I would always like in my songs, some of my references, I would always have superhero, references or some type of analogy centered around, just things that I love. Because when you love something, it just naturally comes out subconsciously. You talk about, what you what you love. So I would say something like I'm smooth as a surfer riding through the cosmos and you know, play your cards like Gambit, just all kind of things I would say,
Love it, love it.
uh, stuff like that. But it wasn't until I made it's about I think about 2015 or 2016, I launched a song I had called Clark Kent, and Clark Kent was like it was really the growth of me musically as well, but it was kind of also what made me fall back from music because it reintroduced my love for this comic book medium once again, and it was all divine timing because when I wrote that song, I didn't know that there was a Man of Steel movie coming out. When I
Wow.
finished the song, Batman vs Superman was out, and it was like so I was able to promote my song along with the movie coming out. It was all perfect timing, and it kind of led me to going to my first Comic Con to promote the song, which was in Philadelphia. It was Wizard World at this time, Wizard World Philadelphia, and I got a couple of my boys to go with me. We all never been to a Comic Con. It was our first time going there, and going to that Comic Con is what really changed my life because I got to see. I didn't know nothing about cosplaying. I knew nothing about none of that stuff. I just thought, when I heard a Comic Con, I thought it was like, that's real stereotypical thought that you have, like, of just some people just at tables playing card games and stuff, and like old people collecting things and stuff. That's what I thought it was. So so when I went there and discovered it was like it was people like us there. Well, it wasn't that many of us there, but I would see a couple of us there, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's fire." And I discovered a lot of my friends I had never knew were very deeply into comics, like
Definitely.
because it's something in the black community we don't really talk about. So
Yes.
during this journey, I realized a lot of my friends were like diehard comic fans, gamers, and it kind of gave like a rebirth to a lot of my friendships and everything. Man, it was just a really dope experience. But that Comic Con changed my life, made me hungry to explore the world of comics and what it would be like to kind of get into the film side of it, make my own film based on my own character. Uh,
Wow.
and that led me down a big rabbit hole to where I am now.
That's amazing because just to hear your whole journey and to see how it's kind of incorporated into the things that you've created. And I think that's the beauty about being a creator is
Mhm.
that you can kind of you don't really have to choose what you want to experience. And to
Yeah.
hear that you wanted to be into music and you wanted to be, an astronaut and how you love the stars, and then to see the type of heroes that you've created. Let's get into that because
Oh
I
yeah.
think we've definitely got a star-studded character here.
Oh yeah.
A legendary acolyte. That I think that title definitely applies. So can you tell us about the characters that you've created?
So the cool thing about Acolyte, he's my first, my first child in this industry, and he's literally just the embodiment of everything I am. Like I said, I wanted to be an astronaut, so I made a character that can go anywhere in the cosmos. He travels everywhere. He's the moonwalker.
That's
That's me getting my chance to live out my dreams. That in this reality, I'll never get to do it, but through Acolyte, I can. So that was like the beauty of it. You know what I mean? Getting to explain the sciences, explore what a black hole is. I'm gonna do all that in this book. I'm gonna give y'all my own thesis of what the universe is through Acolyte. And I think that's like, to me, that's where the love is. Being able to create, tell my own story, and tell a hero that I truly believe in. You know.
definitely.
Um, and even the name acolyte, is symbolic to a position I used to have when I was younger in church. I was an acolyte in church, and it was like one of my first important roles and jobs I've ever had. um, what an acolyte does is, we're like, we're the people that set the ceremony up. So before the pastor comes out, the acolyte comes out. We set the candles, we light the room, we make it presentable for you, and then we introduce you to the, you know. So I figured, that would be a perfect name for acolyte, and just double symbolic it wise. He follows someone that is almost like his leader or his father, and but he's the one lighting the light of the universe.
That's awesome. Can you go more into the concept, and kind of tease our viewers
Oh
here
yeah,
on
for sure.
what is, what the concept, what kind of adventures, who is the acolyte for, who will really enjoy it? You've given us some of the science appeal, so I think anybody who's
Yeah.
interested in, and I think a lot of us are, because I find that fascinating. I actually wanted to be an astronaut for a little bit until I think they had that big explosion with
Yep,
one of the
seeing that was a little, and realizing I'm a little claustrophobic as well. I was like, nah, I don't know if I'm about that life. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I don't know if I'm about that life. It was the ocean. I was always obsessed with the ocean, and I was
Mhm.
obsessed with space because of the unknown, the abyss. What's in the abyss.
Definitely.
And as you get older, that fear grows up in you of what's in that abyss. So,
Right, right.
but
But
when it comes,
we can definitely
when it,
explore that. We can
yeah,
definitely
for sure.
explore that.
So when it comes to Acolyte, Acolyte is he's basically a love child of Superman meets Luke Cage meets Dragon Ball meets Star Wars, all in one lore. Um, mixed with a little Wu Tang in there. You know what I'm saying? A little Wu Tang, a little DMX is in
I
there.
love it.
Everything that I love is incorporated in this, man. It's a story about a guy that discovers he shares DNA with an ancient celestial being, and he goes to unlock this DNA and become the person that he is, and to learn who he is. But on his pathway, he gets tested through in and throughout. Now he must discover what it means to be an infinite supreme and protect the people that he loves, not just for himself, but to save the galaxy itself.
Definitely. Wow. So the stakes are high. We've
Stakes are
got
high.
we've got a lot of power going on there. We've got some swag. So, and I love all the things that you've incorporated in there because, like you said, a little bit of Wu Tang. You got some Star Wars in there. Those
Yeah,
are some amazing elements. And I think when readers see the design of Acolyte, it's definitely
right
legendary.
there. Here he
Yeah.
is, the
Yeah.
man.
So definitely love that. So we know that Acolyte was kind of like the start of things
Mhm.
You came from the music to Acolyte. How did you get into creating and collaborating with others to expand kind of like the comics and the community that you built? I think it's super important to talk about what the indie community is, especially seeing the landscape that we do with more traditional industries and how tough it is for writers, for actors, for all the people that we count on to produce this material.
Yeah.
It's highly competitive. And, when I stumbled upon Concrete Comics, the way that you just kind of envelop and show love to people who love your comics, and then you talk to the people who are working for Concrete Comics, and you call each other family and you collaborate, and it's just such a different environment. Can you talk about what it's like to not only be a creator but to produce, to be a publisher who produces other comics as well?
Oh yeah. So in the beginning, when I first discovered the indie comic scenes, I never even knew there was an indie comic scene. I only knew the mainstreams. I knew Marvel, DC, I knew Image, and sprinkled in a couple of the other guys. But I really didn't know there was indie comics. I didn't. That's what really drove me insane was when I realized there was people like me making comics. Because I thought it was something. I thought it was like a job that was so far fetched, something I could never do. Um, that once I saw people doing it, it was like, oh hell no. I wanted to make a comic my entire life, and you telling me I can do it now? Because I used to think that the person that draws it was the person that writes it and does everything. I thought that's what I thought. So I couldn't draw that good, so I was like, I'm not doing that. So it wasn't until I started studying, and it came to me when a friend of mine during my Clark Kent promotion days, all my friends were active. They were looking at other mediums for me to get into, and he stumbled upon a animation of a character called Dark Eagle, and the guy was from Philadelphia as well, and that also made me go insane because it's like, wait a minute, he's in my city too. So he was in my city. He had a whole animation of his character, and I just the same way I told you right before this call, how I just text somebody, just asked them, would you be interested? Because you never know what you're gonna get. So I text this guy. I asked him, yo, would you be interested if I made a theme song for your animation? Because it didn't have any music. It was just like the video. He originally said no. But I don't take no for an answer. I said, listen, I'm not charging you. I'm not doing nothing. I don't want no money. I just want to do it. And in uh, the midst of him taking a chance on somebody he didn't know, I made the song. He actually loved the song. It's actually still his theme song right now.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but in the midst of me doing that, I had the opportunity to read his script so I could learn the character. And reading the script, I realized how similar writing the script was to writing a song. And that's when I knew like I could do this, just by looking at the science of it. And that's where the journey started. So from there, learning what it means to make a comic, learning about the different roles that are coming to a comic, from the line artist, well, the penciler, the inker, the colorist, the letterer, the writer, the editor. Once I realized that, similar to making music, you got a writer, you got your producer, you got your engineer, you got your manager that helps you do it. So in my brain, it just switched over from music to, okay, this is what I need for comics. I need this person, and that person. And then I started searching for that. And while I was on, mainly Facebook was where I found a lot of it at. Facebook is good for any creators listening. Facebook is probably the best site to meet other creators, artists, and colors, because Facebook has those groups. You can get in these groups. You can meet people that are doing exactly what you're looking for, and that's basically what happened. I got in these groups. I spoke to a lot of people, got information. Some people were a little rude. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I just spoke to a lot of people, got as much information as I could, so that when I started trying to make the comic, I didn't want to. I wanted to look professional. I didn't want to look cheesy. I
Yes.
didn't want it to look crazy. So I really took my time learning the business before I even got into it. So from 2017 getting into it, well, 2016 reconning, 2017 getting my feet wet, getting some little pinups done, and then all the way to 2019 was our first release. So it was like 2 years of me just learning, going to Comic Cons, just asking vendors, what is it like to be at a Comic Con? How do you do this? It was just gathering information, and that's how I met Anaji Odina. That's how I met Jamil. Was on the journey of me searching in the Facebook groups. They happen to be people just like me, just trying to make a comic book. And one day, Jamil in particular, he reached out to me. He said, "Yo, your character is cool. What's he about?" And then we just started talking from there. And he showed me Absolver, and I told him what I was trying to do with Konkret Comics. I'm trying to make my own company. He said, "Yo, I'll be down if you if you want to do something. I'm down." And then he introduced me to Anaji because they were in the same group of some company, and that's how I met Anaji. And
That's
Anaji was weary of the situation first too, but but yeah, it turned out dope. It turned out real dope.
that's an amazing journey, and I think it's also inspiring to anybody out there who the world is opened up to, and you realize that, hey, I can do this too, but where do I start? So that learning period, I think you've proven that that's very important. Really seeking out the information and being hungry enough to put yourself in those spaces to gather as much knowledge and information as you can to empower yourself. But along those lines, because not only are you creating comics and really putting some amazing material out there, but you also have some resources, and you've opened up your platform where you've also included people who are looking to get into comics and to see, get their feet wet and see what it's more about. So can you talk about ways that you've kind of included your reader or other creatives who are interested? Because you have so much out there.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Well, I noticed. Well, this is something else I learned from music. I you can't do it yourself. No, nobody that you see out here did it by themselves. They had somebody or people in that were special in certain ways to get them to where they needed to get to. Um, whether it be a DJ, whether it be a producer that may be connected to this person and that person knows this person, that person. So I've always had the mindset of one of my strongest attributes is being able to utilize the barter system. Because I have a lot of skills. I can do things, and so, a lot of things that I do, people need. So sometimes I can get something for free because I can offer something that they might need. So that's a lot of times that's what got me the furthest in business is just being a person of service. Being somebody that can be like, yo, I see what you're doing. I could probably help you with that. Could you help me with this? And usually people are like, you know what? For sure. Because it's not all about money. Sometimes, the things that you really need, it has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with skill and the know-how.
Yes.
Um, so I feel like, with Konkret Comics, could I have tried to do this on my own and just been an acolyte and stuff? Sure. But my mission is to create the largest comic book company to rival the big two. I want to create a hub like that. I can't do
Yes.
that by myself. I don't have the time. They took 100 years to get here. They've been doing comics since the 30s.
Mhm.
We 5 years in. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So I'm not. So I knew early on that I couldn't do this on my own. And however I wanted to do it, I wanted to be as professional as possible. So the, my lovely wife here, she's a graphic designer. The reason why the branding looks so good, she's a brand manager. She does these things. She's a vital piece in why we look the way we look. Why the quality is. I learned a lot about quality from that, and that came from the music industry. She did all my CD covers, my covers and stuff like that. Because you got to be realistic as a creator. What do you look like? Don't be mad at the result of what you're getting. if you don't look like your competition.
Mhm.
My competition is Marvel DC, so I'm gonna look like them or better, and that's just what we're gonna try to do. So yeah, and when it comes to just building the community, like how I met J.E. Tyler, he was just supporting the brand, and I I like to be aware of people that are liking and commenting and sharing. I check out your profile, and if I see that you do something that I may need, oh, I'm gonna reach out. His profile said he was an author, he was a blogger, and he did a few other things. Um, so I just asked him, was he looking to blog or do any more blogging? He said, yeah, and that was it. He became a family member that day, and we just started working together. And what started out of just him blogging turned into him creating a title called Yesterfate because we were working on something special for Juneteenth. And he said, "Yo, I'm gonna write a something dope like a whole story," and that's what he came up with Yesterfate. And now Yesterfate, he went from a blogger. Now he's one of our creators. He's a writer. Now he has a comic book coming out, and he's dropping our first novel
Oh,
of
wow.
Konkret Comics. So
Yes.
you never know what can happen, but it's just a feeling. Even the creator of Tinnock and Andy Starboy, the way I met him, very unique as well. He came to me through Facebook, through Facebook Messenger. He said, "Hey, I'm I'm looking to get into comics. How can I send you some of my scripts, whatever?" So I said, "Yeah, for sure." I read them. He sent two of them, Andy Starboy, and there was another one. And the thing is, when I was reading the scripts, I realized what his true skill was. He was an extremely good editor. He was extremely good. So instead of me just picking him up as a creator, I said, "Yo, you ever thought about editing books?" Because I was looking for an editor at the time because I needed a new editor. And I said, "Yo, why don't you try editing my book? Well, let's see what happens." He edited it. Long story short, Daniel became editor in chief of Concrete Comics,
That's
and
awesome.
under him, we got a couple awards, we got a couple things like that, and he became one of our top creators as well. Now he's launching. He has his own company based on horror comics called Grimcore Comics, and now he's building his own dynasty as well as still a creator of Concrete Comics.
Yeah,
So
I love how not only, it's a community. It really is when you say family. I love that aspect of, what you're building. Because not only do you have an amazing lineup of creators, but you also have an amazing setup for your supporters too. Can we talk about the Patreon and all the perks that you
oh
have
yeah, the Patreon is it's funny because I was so nervous about doing a Patreon.
there?
It's it's a lot to embark, but I really want to be exclusive with my backers, my supporters, the people that love concrete. And the other real issue is fighting the algorithm. Right
Yes.
now, we've been shadow banned on IG for about 2 years now. Our page doesn't grow. Only like 4 to 7% of our backers are seeing our post. And if we were a company that relied on IG to make our money, we'd be done right now. Luckily, we have a multitude of other platforms. We have a website, and we go to cons. We do things to get our names out there. And for you creators out there that want to know, that's how you got to survive. You can't be relying on one platform at all. You got to really be prepared to go straight off the grid and still be able to survive. If the internet shut down, I'll be fine. I'll be on the corner somewhere selling comic books. You know what I'm saying? I'll be good. But so having the Patreon, having the Discord, having the private Facebook group, and shout out to IG for not giving me my private broadcast channel. But if I'd have had that, it'd have been on and popping. But yeah, that's the real importance for the Patreon, the website, and the Discord was so that we don't have to be subjected to the shadow banning no more. We could just talk to our people, give y'all as much content as you want, and really develop our own concrete universe with our people and our family, as well as educate. We got master classes. We do little fun events. We do giveaways. You get to read the whole Concrete catalog, and there's a lot of books in there, right? So you get you get to read the whole catalog is in there, and you get the books before they hit the website too. Once it's done, it's on the Patreon for people to read. So yeah, no, it's super dope. It's it's super dope. I love Patreon.
It definitely is because when I found you guys and I saw the comics, I'm like, well, let me check out the Patreon. You know, you're talking about a digital library, and it's a lot. It's a wealth of reading material. You guys have so many unique ways that you interact, and so I just love it because Marvel and DC and Dark Horse, there's interaction, but at this level, it's just when you love something and you want to support it, being able to support it at this level where we can have one-on-one interaction and you can have that close knit community. I think that's one of the advantages that, you know, when you support indie and you support starting companies and you see the quality, not only are you buying it to enjoy it, but you can really contribute and make a difference. And so
Yeah.
everyone who's watching, I definitely want to encourage you, subscribe to Concrete Comics website, but also check out the Patreon for $5, for a cup of coffee, for the amount that you spend at Starbucks, you can be
Yeah.
investing and really diving into something that is not only entertaining, but that's empowering because they are dropping comics and material that represents so many parts of our community that don't get that love and attention. And so I love what you're bringing. I love what you're doing. And in fact, there's another way that we can support you as well. You just dropped some big stuff.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yes, yes, we did. Not only with the website, definitely subscribe to the website. But we just dropped our newest creator, Avery Hazelwood, is dropping his first title of Concrete Comics, which is Primate. Primate number one is going to be on Kickstarter. It's going to be ready for the world to consume. He's the Punisher of Concrete for sure. Dark, gritty, um, a little bit violent. For those of you that love a straight to the point vigilante that's not afraid to bust a cap in a couple cheeks, he's the guy for you, man. So definitely tune in. How did you like Primate number zero?
Okay, so guys, you definitely want to check it out. If you like Punisher, if you like Batman, you like those no nonsense vigilantes. Primate was dropping those one-liners that have you really ready to turn those pages. So you definitely, when I say hop on the Patreon, this will be 5, 10, 25, $30 well worth your time. There's just so much wonderful content out there. And not only are you able to enjoy, but you're really making a difference. And you're really helping to contribute to something great. So get out there, check out the Kickstarter for that. If you don't know what a Kickstarter is, can you explain what Kickstarter is? It's something that a lot of
Yeah.
companies and different creatives use, but all of our viewers may not be familiar with that.
So Kickstarter, like a GoFundMe, is a crowdfunding platform where you can go on there, you can pre-order, you can you can do a whole lot of things on there. We use Kickstarter as a pre-order platform where you can go on and you can see our books before they hit the stores, but we add special things in there like limited edition covers, um, you know, statues, shirts, stuff that you can only get on a Kickstarter. That's what our Kickstarters are for. So it's really to give the fans that want something that no one else is going to have and have it before everyone else. That's why we do our Kickstarters for you guys, so y'all can really feel special.
So there's many ways to experience just what Concrete Comics has going on. So many ways. You can check out the Patreon and get all the insiders and the inside scoop. You can check out um, Kickstarter and get the limited edition exclusive items.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Check out the website where you can view, you can subscribe, and also receive some items as
Yeah.
well, because you have free comics through the
Yeah.
website as well.
We have free comics, and they're free right now, but they will be behind the subscription wall soon. So y'all better hurry and get up in there and read,
Yeah,
because unless you want a Patreon, you got to be a subscriber to the website, and it'll be behind the subscriber wall. So if you love the family, you have no problem subscribing to the channel. We don't spam you guys. We don't do none of that stuff. You can come as you go, but if you want to get some of the perks of being a concrete supporter, all we need is a subscribe. That's it. Just a subscribe, a free subscribe. You know what I'm saying?
definitely. And then you can also check out the blog. We recently added a blog. That's how I joined the Concrete family. And so you can check that out. There's also the latest article we dropped. If you want to know the difference between indie and traditional publishing and traditional creating, check out our latest post on that, because right here, Concrete Comics, I'm just going to confess that you guys inspired that article, because the
Oh,
experience was just, it was just amazing to be able to experience a company that produces so many quality works that just kind of invites you in as a family. You know, you don't
yeah,
see your supporters, your readers as mindless consumers or dollar signs. You really kind of rope us in and invite us into your creative world. And it's just really unique to see
yeah.
unfold. And so thank you for
Oh, wow, for
allowing me
sure.
to join. And then thank you for inviting our viewers into your world here as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, I must confess, I've watched a lot of Fast and Furious movies, so I'm big on family. I'm re- I'm real big on family, but it's it's been a joy, man. I feel like all of us, our dream is to not have to work for somebody else. So I wouldn't want to run concrete like a place where you feel like you're working. I want this to feel like this is your home too. We all got a room in this big mansion. Let's all just keep the house clean, do what we got to do our chores, and you can do what you want. Right? You know what I'm
Love
saying?
it. I love it.
And that's kind of how I see it. And even the way that we met and you became a part of the Concrete family is glorious, man. And I want people to know about that. So how did you discover concrete? How did you get into the family?
Oh boy, it was a wonderful rabbit hole. I saw Fantastic Frankie, who is a very knowledgeable fellow blurred. She was recommending one of your comics by Carla Madrano, who did Luna. And what got me hip to that, Fantastic Frankie stated that it was kind of like a Sailor Moon type comic, and I love Sailor Moon. So I was like, let me
Hmm.
check this out. Saw the cover, saw the beautiful illustrations, followed her. Then I said, well, let me check out Concrete Comics and see what they're about. Saw all the amazing artwork, the quality, saw what your mission statement was about wanting to create diverse comics, and how we're not a monolith, and that's something that I too want to push in my work and my writing. And so it just resonated, and then I followed you, and then you followed me back. I was like, hold on. And then you, like you said, you reached out and you were like, hey, I love your content. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little like Miss Marvel. You know how
Oh yeah.
kind of hang out with Captain Marvel. She was kind of fangirling, so I felt a little like that. Like, wow. So
Crazy.
it was an amazing experience, because for an awesome creator, you see somebody putting out this amazing content, and they take the time to say, hey, thank you for following, and to reach out for collaborations. You can't beat that. There's nothing like that. And so I'm very honored and excited to be part of the Concrete family. And I definitely want, as we continue our shows, I definitely want to navigate and help other people explore all the amazing stuff, because it's a lot. it's so many
Yeah.
amazing things, and there's still so much to come. I don't know if you
Yeah.
want to give us more teasers or talk about some of the things we may see in the near future.
Well, I'll say 2024 is our 5th year anniversary, so I plan on revealing a lot. Last year we did, I think, was that last year? In 2022, we did our first K-Way weekend. It was like our own DC fandom type thing. We got to meet all the creators and stuff. It was a 4-hour stream. I don't think we're ever going to do that again, but it was definitely fun. It was interesting, and I was surprised people were literally stayed on the stream for 4 hours. It was like a consistent 20 to 30 people on the whole time, just watching the interviews and the panels and stuff. So if we could plan something like that for 2024, or maybe do something in person, like our own Concrete Comic Con, every 5 years we do our own Comic Con, that would be fire. So be on the lookout for some announcements to be made, probably around October-ish, November, of what we got going on.
So what
Me personally, as a creator, I definitely have. So I got Zoriel coming, but I'll make this an exclusive for your channel. I'm working on Sith Row #1 as well, and I have another story it's very close to my soul, because it's basically Concrete's X-Men. They're on the way.
Oh boy, you said X-Men, and now,
Concrete's X-Men
oh,
on the way.
guys.
I can't wait. I can't wait for y'all to dive into this world. Like, this is when we open this box, this Pandora box. It's like a whole new universe in the universe that's created, and it's gonna be fun. Some of your favorite writers are already on board. From Onaji's gonna be writing some of this. Jamel's gonna be writing some of this. The whole Concrete team is collaborating on this. Montrez might even be writing on this,
I would
and
love to.
no, it's gonna be fire.
I
So
would
yeah,
love to.
I'm just excited. I'm excited.
So if you guys can't take the hint, go ahead, subscribe, sign up for the Patreon, and just get on all the goods, because it's only the beginning. And I also want to say, you say you've just been in here for just 5 years, but hats off for all the accomplishments, because some people don't do all this in the first, second, 10 years. So congratulations to 5 years and to all the years coming, because this is amazing. And I'm definitely, again, it's a pleasure to be part of the Concrete family and to share and celebrate all that you've got going on.
Yeah.
So definitely, guys,
Uh,
please check out I'll have it in the show notes here, all the links where you can find and support Concrete Comics. But definitely get on that ASAP, because it's going to be an exciting and adventurous ride here.
Oh yes, yes indeed. Our next level is going to be crazy. So make sure y'all tune in. Montrez, this was awesome. This was a really fun interview. It actually gave me some ideas too. So I'm gonna be talking to you about about this as well.
Wonderful.
But
But
yeah,
before we go, though, could you, because your story is very inspiring, but if you had to summarize, give us a bit of inspiration for our viewers to take with them.
uh, what this culture has allowed me to do is really be 100% myself. Um, you know, in the Black community, we rarely talk about our nerdism, and I love the blurred community that's came out and that's coming out and stuff like that. I feel like we still got a lot of work to do. It's still a lot of gatekeeping going on, and weird stuff going on in the community, and that's why I do what I do to create my own community inside the community,
Mhm.
um, to try to shield out all the negativity that can come from all sides, of the room. But just basically don't be afraid to connect with people, reach out to people, see where you can help, and be a person of service. A person of service will get you a long way. Some of the best leaders are people that serve. So
It's
don't
awesome.
be don't be afraid to serve, man. Find out where you can help somebody, where somebody's dream can help your dream, and just make it happen.
It's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And special shout out to all our viewers who attended our live earlier
Oh
today.
yeah.
Shout out to Nicole, to Ryan, to Arden, and to Sunstar Moon for coming and for tuning in, and to everyone who's viewing this live. right now, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for tuning into our first ever Novel Creature Network live. Well, it's a live recording, it's a recording, but you can tune in to our next live, and we're definitely going to have Mr. Lonzo Starr back because, like we said,
Yes.
there's a lot of things going on. And he name dropped a lot of amazing creators that hopefully you will be seeing in the future here on our show. So stay tuned. Be sure to stick around, subscribe. I'll have all of our links, important links where you can follow and support and just get in on all the creative goodness. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you so much for being part of our very first show here.
Thank you. Thank you. And y'all know what the deal is. Keep it concrete.
Keep it concrete, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.